Welcome, ladies. Welcome to this video. Today, we're going to talk about cortisol belly and what exactly this means, and specifically why many people, 1 out of 3 people, over 40 people, ladies in general specifically, 1 out of 3 struggle with belly fat after 40, even eating well, working out every single time, and feeling like they're actually putting in the work and not seeing the results. Well, simply put, today we're not only going to talk about the science behind the abdominal fat and why stress is one of the things that actually creates that, but we're going to put some sort of a testing, or we're gonna teach you how to assess whether you have a fat storage belly or whether you have a stress belly and it comes from cortisol or other hormones together. Before we do that, I want to talk briefly about the 21-day summer emergency plan. I did say a month ago how important it was to prepare yourself for the summer in March and not come, in June to July, or July for August. But see, if you haven't yet started, you want to be taking this challenge, because this challenge is only going to be one way to start off. It's going to be a kickstart from 21 days, then we're going to take it to probably a month, and from there you're going to get into the summer. Realistically speaking, for a lot of you it might be already too late when it comes to summer, meaning like if you have anywhere more than 10 kilo to lose, it's going to be hard. But specifically, if your body is not yet ready to lose the weight, it's going to be even harder, because we know that we need, our first step is metabolic rehab, so your body needs to get ready to lose weight. But if you are ready, metabolic acceleration, if you are in step number 2, then you really want to take this challenge, because it's going to teach you how to lose the weight and then not regain it. Okay, because losing the weight, regaining the weight, and keeping the weight off are 3 different things, and most only see the losing and then regaining part because they don't know how to come out of a diet, and then they never really maintain. Okay, one of the things that we're going to talk about inside the challenge, and one of the problem we're going to work with, is really the belly fat, because obviously we know that if you want to put a bikini on, it's important to actually think about how can you make this happen. But especially, bikini, many people feel like, okay, I cannot put a bikini on, because I'm 40 years old, or I'm 50 years old, whatever. Like there is picture all the time showing you that this can happen despite the age. We had Cecilia here last year, that she's on her 40s, mid 40s, and she went on and did a bodybuilding contest. Now she's, as far as I know, she's still doing bodybuilding, and she got to her best physique ever after 40. So the thing is that you need to really understand these few things. Number one, you need to understand what really happens when it comes to the stress, and physical and emotional stress, and what happens scientifically. And number one is the chronic effect of cortisol. Okay, your HPA axis and your adrenals will create cortisol consistently, right, constantly, and it's going to keep it elevated. And if it keeps it elevated, there is an issue, because the belly fat, it becomes visceral around your organ, and it's not really more of, like, it's more of a belly that it comes from the inside out rather than from the outside in, because there are more fat receptors inside your organs, and is usually the most dangerous, but it's also the easiest to get rid of. Okay, if you know exactly what to do, and we'll talk about that, knowing exactly what to do. But first and foremost, you need to understand whether you is a inflammation belly or whether is a fat belly. Okay. One of the things that you can start, like, but first I want to talk about the chronic cortisol action. How is this going to impact everything? Pretty much, there is 2 hormones inside your body, cortisol and insulin, that are going to dictate the cascade of event that's going to happen as a result. The more fat you bring on your body, the less muscle you will have. And the less muscle you'll have, your metabolism is going to slow down. That's going to impact the rate of thyroid. And again, that comes from cortisol. The second thing, when you have more belly fat, by nature, you will tend to become insulin resistant. You'll produce more insulin. Your receptor will be less receptive to insulin. And every single time you store combo meals, especially meals around fat and sugar together, high in calorie, then you will tend to store it as fat. It's going to be much easier for you to store it as fat. That's going to impact your sleep. It's going to disrupt your sleep, and it's also going to increase your cravings. The cravings is going to increase belly fat, and again, fat overall, and you're gonna become more susceptible to eating bad stuff and stress in general, and then you'll sleep less. And if you sleep less, you know that everything else is like a cycle. Okay. Now, what are the things that can you do? Like, what are the solutions for the belly fat? Well, if the belly fat is, well, whether is inflammation or whether is fat related, like when it's fat related, you really want to focus on these couple of things over here. Number one, it's really to eat anti-obesity, anti-inflammatory food like omega-3, turmeric and all those things. But obviously those are the cherry on the cake. The really big thing that you must do is creating a calorie deficit chronically, right? But also not to extend, meaning like chronic calorie deficit, but um, not too high of a deficit. Meaning like if you hit up 500 calorie and then you cannot see results, chances are your body is either not ready to lose weight or your body is adapting very quickly, right? So you must create a deficit and you must get rid of processed food. You must get rid of inflammatory food. You must get rid of alcohol, caffeine, and all these things that teach your body really not to focus. Like it does keep your body on a stress related state. You must focus on strength training as well as short burst workouts that are really, we done a few of those, 10, 15 minutes of those, really rest based workout, meaning like you only rest when you need, and and whenever you're ready to go, you'll go, comment workout below and I'll tag you in one, for example. If instead your fat is based on inflammation, which is sometimes is easier to get rid of, but it's harder to make it happen because you don't know how to get rid of your stress, then you really need to focus on quality on sleep and quantity of sleep. You need to focus on meditation, breath work. You need to focus on movement rather than working out. You need to figure out what cardio is right, and sometimes you cannot even know, right? You can test the stress, and there is a stress test that we have with some of my clients. And of course, again, you must really focus on the alcohol and the quality of the food as well. But what are the things that you could do to know if the belly is stressed or inflammation or fat? Well, if you jump, boom, and your belly jiggles, right? And you can actually pinch it, like much like you would pinch this thing over here, right? Chances are is food related. It's never one or the other, it's probably both, but chances are it's more food related. Now, if instead you can pinch and it comes out, that it brings it out, like you can pinch and then the fat comes out, chances are that's a pre-diabetic or cortisol kind of um, belly, and that would be more towards reducing the stress. This is why sometimes people eat clean, they work out, and the more they work out, the more fat they have. It can also be, and this is very empirical, there is not many study, but this is what I found. It can also be that the season changes, and some people they produce different level of testosterone and cortisol during the summer or in the winter. I always notice that for me it's much easier to gain weight in the summer than it is in the winter time, and it's much harder to get out from the hormone, because as you produce more testosterone, then you get more hungry, and as you get more hungry, you create more insulin resistant, then it creates stress as well. So this is much easier but like you need to figure out pretty much from what is the root cause. If you want me to help you, comment down below root cause. We'll get on a chat. We'll see, what is the root cause of the issue. And there is one last thing that you can also my face. There is, like, in the morning you might wake up bloated and you say, this is the belly fat, and usually this is a combination of all three: the stress, the fat, and also poor gut health, bloating, not processing food well and whatever. And this could also be, unfortunately, that's much more extensive of a test. But hopefully this got you some good feedback, and we'll talk to you soon. Sign up for the challenge. It's going to be epic. It's going to start within a month. And also, I almost forgot. You'll see now the post. I invited Marissa, one of the biggest success story in the program, to come and talk on how she got back to her modeling. She actually started a modeling career, but she ended up her depression. She lost over 30 kilo, and she kept it off for, listen, 6 years. most people cannot even keep up results for 6 months. She found a way to keep it. We'll explain everything in the call. Coach Jerry here. Talk to you soon. I wish you an amazing weekend. Bye bye.